I'm at Cheers Wine and Spirits on Shelbyville Road. Let's go check it out. All right, so let's check out their shelves. Here we go. They got a nice little sign set up for their Old Forester whiskey row. Staples that everybody should have on their shelves. There's a rare reed rye. They have Booker's. They have the 01 2025, so the newest release, $99.99. Now, personally, I don't buy the Booker's. I would rather buy the Knob Creek single barrel picks, but that's me. Knob Creek 10-year rye and the Burr rye. I do like the Burr rye, $47.99. Good price for it. I like it. It's a good blend. So their Buffalo Trace is 1 liter is $37.99 for the 1 liter bottle and $27.99 for the 750. A handle of sass. So we shot a video over at State Liquors. Apparently that is a sister store here to Cheers. So they have the same Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye pick, and it is the 136.7 at $69.99. Good price, good proof. If I didn't have a bunch of them, I'd probably be grabbing another one. So they have a really nice Peerless lineup here. We've got the high rye bourbon, the small batch, of course, the double oak, the toasted, and the cognac barrel finished. So they have a nice Peerless selection. So we have the Holiday bottled in bond, both the soft red wheat and the straight bourbon, and the Rickhouse proof soft red wheat. So for some reason in Kentucky, I'm not seeing the straight bourbon Rickhouse proof, which is my favorite Holiday. The only one I picked up actually in Missouri at the distillery. So here we go with the Larrikins again. I did get some of the Larrikin single barrel and from the State Liquors, and I tried it there. It was pretty good, but now I want to take it home and give it a try and really get a better feel of it, because a lot of people are speaking really highly of that, and I need to investigate it a little bit more personally, because we can't get it in Ohio. So there's your Derby bottle. And they got a nice little display for their Horse Soldier. I'm not a Horse Soldier fan. The story behind it's great. I think, the whole military background is great. The juice inside that I've had, and I've had the gold and the silver, I haven't been a fan of. That's the barrel foundation. That's the normal barrel foundation, not the double oak. I did pick up the double oak over in Indiana. I finally found it. I'm excited to try that. The regular barrel foundation is still good though, and at $55, it's not a bad price. So they have a Bardstown Origin lineup. The high wheat, the tan label, has been my favorite Bardstown so far. I even like that more than I like Discovery because of the price of the Discovery's series. So they have the Penelope lineup. They have the wheated, along with your toasted and barrel strengthened Architect and Rosé. I mean, those are fairly available now, and these prices are all right in line. $35.99 for the wheated, up to the $56.99 for the toasted. Cooper's Craft 100, another bottle that's just not talked about a lot, but is a really good kind of mid-shelfer. But it's very tasty. All right, now we're going to go check the other aisle here. We got the Heaven Hill bottled in bond at $53.99. A lot of people really like that Heaven Hill bottled in bond. I'm not a fan. I find it very nutty, so I tend to avoid it. Then when you're single barrels, I do like those, but at $15.99, I think that one's just too high priced at that. We did see it in Indiana at like $38, something like that, and that was much more in line with what it should be. But I've got a couple at home, so I didn't buy another one. The Pepper Decanter bottle. It's a beautiful bottle, and it's pretty good whiskey. It's not bad. If you haven't tried it, you should definitely try it, and decide if you want to buy it. I do have a one or two, so. So the Buckner's 10 year is 160. It is 122 proof here. I know Augusta Buckner's right now, they are sourcing their whiskey, and I believe they have said that they will not release their own distillate until it reaches 10 years old. So that's like the minimum they will release it at. So they're going to source until their stuff gets to be 10 years. So here's some short barrel. We have the rye, the El Jefe. So we have a tequila finished and a toasted small batch. We are not seeing those in Ohio. So Mary Dowling, I've actually heard good stuff about this. Someone I know told me that the Mary Dowling was very nice bourbon. I haven't tried it, and I don't really know much about it. I just had one person that I trust say it was good. Several RD1s. Got some of the decanter bottles with who knows what kind of whiskey is in them. And Basil Hayden. And we have the new Four Roses single barrels, OESK, OESO, OBSF. So these are we're seeing them more here in Kentucky. We still have not seen these at all in Ohio. We did pick up some of these bottles earlier. Okay, now we're just in a lot of our just standard shelfers. There's an old Ezra 7 stuck in there, kind of out of place with all these like standard kind of mid shelfers. There's a Larceny barrel proof that is C924, which I've had is actually pretty good. Early Times bottled in bond. You can't beat it for a budget bottle. This is what we would get now, the blue caps. I don't think you can really find the black tops at all anymore, but $27.99. So we have the Russell's Private Barrel. This is the store pick, and they have 4 different barrels. So we were at the sister store at State Liquor, and they had one. They had a Camp Nelson. Let's see what we got with these. This is a Warehouse. This is a Tyrone 8-year. And this is the Camp Nelson 9-year. That was also at the other store. This is a Tyrone 8-year. A Camp Nelson 9-year. Are these the same ones? No, so these are different because they're bottled on different dates. They have 2 different Camp Nelson picks. They are selected by Wild Indian, which is pretty standard for these. Like these shops are all associated with John O's, so they use the Wild Indian tag quite a bit. But you can tell one here is Wild Indian number 2, and one is number 4. But they are both Camp Nelson E, and they are both 9 years old. And so that's all 4. So we have 2 Tyrones and 2 Camp Nelsons. For these, all seem to be $84.99 for all 4 bottles, the 2 different Tyrones and 2 different Camp Nelsons. I mean, if I'm going to grab one, I'm grabbing a Camp Nelson 9-year for sure. All right, up towards the front of the store, they actually have some of their allocated and their store picks. So we're going to kind of go through what they have here. So they have their 750 Sass, $29.99. They have the Old Forester 117 Extra Old. Which, again, this is the aged 1910, which I have a bottle I'm excited to try. And it's $69.99. They have an RD1 store pick, $89.99. And we went over the Russells. We talked about them. They actually have 4 different Russells picks. They have 2 Camp Nelsons and 2 Tyrones. The Camp Nelsons are 9 years. They're all $84.99. And I would definitely go for the Camp Nelsons. They have the Wild Turkey Private Selection Rye at $69.99. And this is the same barrel pick that we had over at the other store we did, State Liquor. The Old Forester Black Label at $64.99. Great price. I did sample it, and it's very good. So it's a very nice pick. Their McKenna is $59.99. So they have the grain to glass series here. They do have the straight bourbon and the rye. They're all at $99.99. Personally, I'm not a fan of the grain to glass. I think getting the Elijah Craig's is a better option. And there's those Buckners at 10-year at $160. The Penelope Wheated, $35.99. We saw that on the shelf. We also saw this pick of the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye at $69.99. It is 136 proof. And they have the Knob Creek store pick. This is the standard store pick. This is not the new barrel proof. It is the one that is proof to 120. But those are always good. I have yet to have really a bad Knob Creek store pick, period. So behind me, we have a shelf we're about to go over that is set up for their Easter egg hunt. We're going to go over the bottles and exactly what they're doing. So on April 19th, starting at 8 a.m., the store is going to hide eggs out among the bottles, and she said they'll be easy to find. But in the egg is going to be a ticket. You'll bring your ticket to the counter, and they will match it to one of these bottles and some kind of code. And these are the bottles and the prices that you'll be able to purchase if you find one of those eggs. So we have the Maker's Mark. This is that one of those special Derby bottles. It's a $199.99. We have some each Taylor small batch. It's going to be sold for $69.99. Again, you have to find the ticket that matches these bottles. The single barrel at $99.99. That's a nice price. The H. Taylor straight rye at $89.99. That's actually a really good price from what I see down here. Wow, H. Taylor barrel proof for $99.99. That would be a ticket I would be happy to find. Old Fitzgerald 11-year, $199.99. Fantastic. Rare Character Rye at $99.99. Penelope Rio, $99.99. Valencia, and the 17-year American Light Whiskey, which we opened last night and we tried, and it is fantastic. And the little book, Path Not Taken, so this would be the Chapter 8, $169.99. We have the Cellar Age 2024, $229.99. The Extra Old at $62.99, Old Forester. 18-year Knob Creek, $159.99. Midwinter Night's Dram, $150. The new Woodford Double Oak, that's this year's release in the 750 at $199.99. 1792 Single Barrel at $49.99. Blanton's Straight from the Barrel, $179.99, and the Blanton's Gold, $129.99. Those are good prices for those two bottles compared to what you would normally find them around here for sure. The Port Finish Bowman, I'm going to be honest, I tried this. I hated it. I wouldn't get it even if I found the ticket. And John J. Bowman, which I love, $79.99. Blanton's 375, $45.99. The little 50 milliliters, those are cute. Those make great gifts, especially at $15. The Elmer T. Lee at $79.99. You don't normally find it for that price. In fact, it's more than that MSRP in Ohio now. Got a Kentucky Spirit. We got some Stags. So we got 24C, for $89.99 if you find the ticket. Weller Antique at $79.99. You won't find it for that price in Kentucky, and that's really close to retail. In Ohio, retail is like $65 after tax. 1924 at $114. That's less than I paid for it at the distillery. And Eagle Rare at $49.99. That is MSRP. So if you're here on April 19th at 8 a.m., if I lived in Louisville, I would be here on April 19th at 8 a.m. to try and find some of these tickets, because there's some pretty nice deals on these. It's hard to find an EHTL barrel proof for $99.99, and it's hard to find some of these Blantons at that cost and some of these others. So yeah, just showing you what they're going to have. I got to make sure I get this video edited and out before the 19th, so you guys who are in the area can come check out the Cheers Liquors on Shelby Row Road. All right, so back behind the counter, we've got some their more allocated stuff. We have the Jack Daniel's 12-year for $299.99. So we have a Penelope Rio bundle. It's $199.99. It's the Rio and another Penelope. So you purchase that bundle and you get that bundle at $199.99. They have a Michter's bundle for $299.99. It is the barrel strength bourbon along with any other basic Michter's bottle, $299.99. The Eagle Rare bundle is $89.99 for Eagle Rare plus Traveler. The Blanton's bundle is a Blanton's plus a Thomas S. Moore, $147.98. And a bundle deal with E.H. Taylor is E.H. Taylor Small Batch and Sazerac bundled for $99.99. And that's pretty good. That's actually a pretty good deal on that bundle. We have the Hardin Creek 11-year. This is their corn whiskey, 11-year-old corn whiskey at $159.99. And the Famed Pursuit, which is the Orphan Barrel 17-year at $219.90. So here's the standard price for their E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof at $349.99. And the Straight Rye, $174.99. Again, if you come for that Easter egg hunt, you're going to get a great deal on those. We have some of the Van Winkles. And $699.99 for the Stag. $499.99 for the Handy. And that's the Wild Turkey Triumph. That's the 10-year rye that was released last year for the Master's Keep. Cellar aged at $299.99. Rock Hill Farms, the standard price for their Elmer T. Lee. And their Stag Junior. This is a 24A, normally at $169.99. There's their Blantons, their normal price. President's Choice. I haven't seen one of those around in the store in quite a while, but $599.99. This one is a 10-year. There's your Weller Full Proof. These are store picks, and they are $199.99. The regular Weller Antique comes at $119.99 or $109.99 if you buy 2 bottles. All right, so I just got out of Cheers. Wow, yeah, pretty good selection, nice store. Of course, some of their allocated stuff's marked up. It always is. But they are having that Easter egg hunt. I have to get this video done before the 19th, and there's some really good deals if you find one of those eggs. But overall, their store picks were well priced. They had some nice store picks with the Old Foresters and the Russells, 2 different Camp Nelsons. And yeah, so definitely come check this out if you're in Louisville. And remember, until next time, the best bourbon or whiskey is the one you like the most.